Good morning, everyone. This is Mr. Danzel, and we are going to do one more spending plan project. I call this the spending plan simulation. And it's very similar to the Brown family spending plan project, except that there's two different scenarios, and you are going to be deciding what they are going to spend their money on. So in this spreadsheet, you'll notice you have two tabs, a single person and a couple that is married with children. So in both instances, you have their total income right here, so you know how much money they're making. But then you are going to decide what they spend their money on. Now, you'll see there are two rows under savings, there's three under fixed expenses, there's three under flexible expenses. You have to fill in at least those. You can add more if you want. So for example, if for Sue Smith, if we decide she's going to save $100 a month on emergency savings and $100 a month in a 401k, but you also want her to have a Roth IRA, if you right-click on these row headings, you can go to Insert, and it will add a row above. So she's going to put $100 in a Roth IRA, and it automatically calculates here. You will need to copy this formula down. You can do Control-C, Control-V, or you can use what's called the fill handle, that little square in the lower right-hand corner, and drag it down. So then you decide what fixed expenses she has. Again, if you think she has more than three, which she probably does, you would want to add or insert rows to factor that in. But try to be as realistic and thorough as possible in thinking about her expenses. What is she really going to be spending money on? What do you think she should spend money on? And include all of those things in her expenses. As with the Brown family spending plan, this number down here will need to be 0 when you are done. And also, you need to use those recommended percentages. So, for example, her rent or mortgage, if she is buying a house, paying for a house, if you are saying that she's going to spend $1,000 on rent, well, that's more than 30% of her income, and that's too much. That's higher than the recommended percentage. So you need to adjust that. Maybe we try to find an apartment or house that's only $500, and she's well below that 30%. So you have to decide how she spends her money. And again, there are two scenarios. You have this married couple with children. The children are young. The children require daycare. As you can see, both parents are working. The children require daycare. So some of their expenses are going to be different than a single person with no children. So keep that in mind. And again, the total income minus total expenses number must be 0 when you are done. It has to be 0. All of her money has to be accounted for in some way. If you think you've got all of the expenses that she would use and you still have money here, save it. Add it to savings. You want to try to save as much as possible. Again, don't forget to do both sheets, single person and the married with children.